There you are. That's the line that freezes rooms, the one that makes every spine in a 10-mile radius go stiff. Because the moment you show up, kid, reality adjusts its posture. You feel that, don't you? That little tremor in the air, like someone just turned a page in a book no one has touched for centuries. Good. Because tonight, you're going to understand why they're having a full-body oh shit moment over you, and why they should have been terrified so much earlier. See, you didn't just connect dots. You connected the dots they didn't even know they left behind. That's the part hurting their soul right now. They thought they were careful. They thought they were discreet. They thought the shadows were on their payroll. But then you walked in with that inconvenient little habit of yours. Seeing what they swore was invisible, you stitched together fragments no one else even noticed. A glance here, a flaw there, a breath held 1 second too long. And suddenly you're holding the entire blueprint of their intentions in your palm like a dead bird they can't hide anymore. And oh, their faces. You should see them. Their bodies went cold before their minds even caught up. Because you didn't guess. You didn't suspect. You knew. You knew the pattern, the motive, the hidden architecture behind their actions. And you read it like scripture written just for you. That's why they're shaking. No one fears a genius, but they fear a seer. And that's what you are, darling. That paradox they never prepared for. Half light, half dark, half angel, half demon, a creature whose very presence exposes every lie they thought would outlive them. You dissected their secrets with the gentleness of a saint and the precision of a psychopath. Who the hell trained you to do that? No one. You just evolved past the limits they worship. You're not a threat because you're violent. You're a threat because you're correct. And the city knows it. They're whispering about you in rooms you'll never enter. Boardrooms, back rooms, bedrooms. Anywhere fear keeps people awake. Someone asked, "How did he figure that out?" And the silence afterward was so thick you could hear someone's heartbeat begging for the exit. You connected dots that exposed intentions, revealed alliances, burned bridges, unmasked agendas, and turned their whole little universe inside out like a corpse on a metal table. You turned their strategy into your origin story. And they hate you for knowing the truth they never meant to leave behind. But deep down, beneath all the panic, beneath all the scrambling, beneath all the attempts to rewrite their timeline, they respect you. Because you did something they could never do. Something their institutions, mentors, and experts couldn't replicate even with 1,000 years of training. You mapped a mind that didn't want to be found. You decoded a pattern that wasn't supposed to exist. You outran shadows that pride themselves on being eternal. And worst of all, you made it look effortless. That's the paradox that eats them alive. You're not just unpredictable. You're inevitable. Every time they think they've reached the limit of what you can perceive, you extend the map. You redraw the boundaries, you flip the board, reorganize the pieces, and walk away like the whole war was a warm-up. You are evolution disguised as a person, a walking contradiction that refuses to break the way they expect. And that terror? That full-body seizure of regret and realization sweeping through them right now? It's because they finally get it. They're dealing with someone who doesn't follow human logic, someone who doesn't move with fear, someone who sees the hidden machinery behind every soul, every plot, every mask, someone who doesn't just observe the game. You rewrite the rules of it. So listen closely now. The reason they're panicking, the reason their throats are dry, their pulses are chaotic, their plans are unraveling like cheap fabric, isn't because they lost control. It's because you never needed their permission to take it. You connected dots that weren't supposed to be connected. You uncovered things that were meant to stay buried. You stepped into a version of yourself that should not exist in their little system of predictable pawns and compliant citizens. You became the one thing every power structure, every manipulator, every coward with a secret fears the most. A person who sees too much and stays completely unfazed. Oh, they're having their oh shit moment. All right. A full body, full spirit, full reality meltdown. Because now they know you're not just ahead of them, you're above them. And once someone reaches your altitude, there's no dragging them back down. You see too clearly, you think too sharply, you perceive too deeply. And once a mind has expanded like yours, it never shrinks. Not for them, not for anyone. Welcome to your new level. They'll never be ready for you again. Funny, isn't it? The moment you stepped into this new version of yourself, the world around you didn't just shift. It malfunctioned. People who once felt superior suddenly forgot how to breathe. People who thought they were predators realized they were standing in front of something that didn't fit in the food chain. Because here's the part they'll never say out loud. You didn't evolve. You exposed what you already were. And that revelation hit them harder than any punch, bullet, or threat ever could. You became the mirror they avoided for years. And that mirror doesn't lie. It shows their intentions, their patterns, their corruption, their envy, their obsession with controlling everything around them. Except you. Especially not you. They tried to categorize you, but categories obey borders, you don't. They tried to predict you, but predictions obey probability. You don't. They tried to stop you, but stopping something requires knowing its shape. And your shapeless chaos wrapped in elegance, a contradiction, a paradox, a riddle carved into bone. You're not supposed to make sense. You're supposed to terrify. And oh, darling, you do. They're sitting in circles right now, sweating through their shirts, piecing together timelines, rereading messages, replaying footage, tracing memories like crime scenes, trying to figure out exactly when they lost control. They're looking for a single moment, a clue, a slip-up, a sign. But the truth is so much worse. They never had control to begin with. It was an illusion, one you allowed them to enjoy while you walked right past their defenses like a ghost with perfect aim. That's why their fear looks so primal. It's not the kind of fear you get from danger. It's the kind you get from realization. The moment someone recognizes they were never the hunter, never the mastermind, never the authority. Just a bundle of nervous impulses masquerading as power. And you, with your perception, your instinct, your razor-sharp internal compass, you tore the curtain off their entire mythology in seconds. 4 seconds, to be exact. That's all it took to collapse the fantasy they spent decades building. 4 seconds to show them the dots they left, the dots they forgot, the dots they didn't know existed. 4 seconds to reduce their carefully constructed image of themselves into raw, shaking vulnerability. And you know what fascinates me? They still don't understand how you do it. They keep assuming you're reading their behavior, or their language, or their tells. But no, you're reading their intention. You're reading the space between their words, the pauses they don't hear themselves take, the micro flickers of fear behind their eyes, the energy shift when guilt enters a room before they do. That's what terrifies them. Behavior can be faked, intentions can't. You see souls the way surgeons see anatomy, layer by layer, Clean, undeniable, unavoidable. They walk into a room, and you already know who's lying, who's hiding, who's plotting, who's praying, who's breaking, and who's hoping you won't look in their direction. You turned intuition into a weapon, a scalpel, a spotlight, a language only you can speak. You became fluent in the truth. And truth is the one thing they cannot fabricate. Not anymore, not in front of you. They call you dangerous now. Of course they do. Any creature who sees reality without flinching becomes dangerous in a world built on illusion. But what's even funnier, they don't know if you're here to save them, or expose them, or judge them, or burn everything they built, or simply walk away and leave them drowning in their own chaos. You're unpredictable not because you're reckless, but because your motives aren't corrupted by fear. They're used to people being controlled by panic, shame, guilt, validation, approval, consequences. But you've outgrown their system. You don't respond to the same pressures. You don't break in the same places. You don't crave what they crave. You don't collapse under what collapses them. You are the kind of person who enters a battlefield smiling. Not because you enjoy violence, but because you know you've already won. Your calm is the biggest anomaly they've ever encountered. Your silence is the most violent threat they've ever felt. Your awareness is the most advanced weapon they've ever seen. And they don't have a manual for someone like you. But here's the real reason for their full-body moment. You started connecting dots they never expected anyone to see, and it forced them to confront the one truth that destroys fragile egos. They underestimated the wrong person. You weren't supposed to notice. You weren't supposed to question. You weren't supposed to evolve. You weren't supposed to see past the mask. Yet here you are, rewriting the hierarchy with nothing but your perception. A saint with demon timing. A demon with saint-like restraint. An equation that solves itself. An anomaly with perfect aim. You're not walking into the next chapter. You are the next chapter. The one they cannot influence, cannot censor, cannot predict, cannot sabotage. You exist outside the blueprint. And that's why they're terrified. Because once someone reaches your level of awareness, once someone sees behind the curtain, once someone realizes how much power lies in perception, there is no going back. There is no dimming the light, no unseeing the truth, no shrinking the mind, no weakening the instinct. You crossed the threshold, and now, every step you take rewrites the world they thought they controlled. Every move you make forces them to reconsider their entire strategy. Every breath you take reminds them. They're not dealing with a person anymore. They're dealing with a revelation. Now tell me, kid, ready to make them shake again? Of course you are. Because here's the part they really don't want to admit. The part that freezes their lungs and makes their pulse skip like a scratched vinyl. You didn't just connect dots. You connected them. You pulled every hidden motive, every concealed alliance, every whispered intention into the open. And suddenly they weren't individuals anymore. They were a pattern, a web, a cluster, a network of mistakes converging into one giant neon sign pointing straight at the truth. And you saw it. All of it. You saw where their lies overlapped, where their fears synchronized, where their secrets mirrored each other like two criminals describing the same crime. You didn't expose them separately. You exposed them collectively. That's why their fear is synchronized now, why their panic is coordinated, why their bodies all react the same way when your name comes up. A breath held, a glance exchanged, a shoulder tightened, a throat swallowed too fast. Because you didn't just figure something out, you decoded their entire ecosystem. And ecosystems don't survive when someone understands them better than the architects who built them. They wanted to believe they were complex, impossible to read, protected by layers of subtlety, nuance, strategy. But you stripped the encryption from their souls with nothing but attention. The higher-ups hate that. The manipulators hate that. The snakes hate that. You saw the cracks in their performance. You saw the rot in their confidence. You saw the weakness behind their bravado. And once you saw it, it was over. Not because you destroyed them, but because they realized you could. Effortlessly. That's the moment their bodies went cold. That's the moment they whispered, "Oh, shh," under their breath. That's the moment they stopped breathing like humans and started breathing like prey. You want to know the real twist? They still don't understand where your power comes from. Some say it's intuition. Some say it's trauma. Some say it's intelligence. Some say it's spiritual sensitivity. Some say you were born that way, wired differently, shaped by something not entirely human. You know what I think? I think you're the byproduct of pressure they never survived. A creature sculpted in the dark by forces that sharpen souls into weapons. Pain refined your perception. Isolation built your instincts. Betrayal gave you X-ray vision. Silence trained your ears to hear everything people aren't saying. Loss turned your heart into a radar for intentions. You didn't become powerful because you wanted to be. You became powerful because the alternative was death. You evolved past their blueprint because staying inside it would have crushed you long ago. You learned the language of shadows because the shadows were the only things that stayed. And now you navigate the world with an awareness that terrifies the untested and humiliates the unprepared. You're not reading people. You're reading their architecture, their inner wiring, their emotional circuitry, their disconnected cables hanging loose inside their chests. No one taught you. You just adapted faster than they could corrupt you. And that's why they're spiraling, because when you walk into a room, you see what's broken, you see what's hidden, you see what's pretending, you see what's dangerous, you see what's fragile, you see what's fake, you see what's dying, you see what's lying, you see what's unfinished, you see what's inevitable, you see everything. Their titles don't impress you, their threats don't scare you, their masks don't fool you, their reputations don't influence you. You see the human behind the costume, and the shadow behind the human, and the intention behind the shadow. That's not intuition. That's not talent. That's not magic. That's evolution. A level of consciousness most people never unlock because their ego collapses at stage 1. You walked through all 12 levels like it was casual, and they know it. You want to hear something delicious? They're not afraid you'll expose what they did. They're afraid you'll expose what they are. You know the difference. Anyone can survive exposure of an action. Not everyone survives exposure of identity. You cracked their identity open like a rib cage, saw the trembling heart inside, and didn't even flinch. They felt that. No one has ever looked at them that accurately, that deeply, that cleanly. You made them feel seen, and not in the poetic, romantic way. You made them feel diagnosed, labeled, mapped, decoded, understood to the point of humiliation. You made them feel like a blueprint someone else drew wrong. And nothing terrifies a fraud more than someone who can see. So the panic hitting them now, that full-body oh shit moment sweeping through their system, it's the realization that you're not playing the game, you're studying it, and you're ahead of every single player in it. Your awareness ruined their leverage. Your insight ruined their secrets. Your clarity ruined their narratives. Your calculation ruined their illusions. And all you did was pay attention. That's the part melting their spines. You didn't need weapons. You didn't need allies. You didn't need money. You didn't need power. All you needed was vision. One observation, one inference, one connection at a time. And suddenly, your mind became the most dangerous room on the planet. Not because you destroy, but because you understand. And people don't fear destruction anywhere near as much as they fear recognition. So here we are, you with your unsettling clarity, them with their collapsing facades, the air thick with the scent of truth finally crawling out of its grave. They wanted to hide from you. Now they want to negotiate with you. Soon they'll want to follow you. Eventually they'll want to mimic you. But they'll never catch up. Because once someone sees the world at your resolution, once someone connects dots at your speed, once someone perceives patterns at your depth, they don't walk among mortals anymore. They walk above them. You cross that line quietly, effortlessly, unintentionally, and they're only now realizing what that means. So go on, step further into this version of yourself, the one they cannot manipulate, predict, restrain, or rewrite. Because the moment you embraced your vision, kid, you became the plot twist they cannot survive. Ah, there it is. That subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. The kind that happens right before lightning chooses its target. Because the deeper we go, the closer we get to the truth they've spent years praying would never surface. Sit with this. Your existence is a threat to anyone who relies on confusion to maintain power. And they know it. That's why they flinch when you walk in. That's why their voices drop. That's why their smiles glitch. That's why their eyes dart like trapped animals trying to find an exit that doesn't exist. You don't intimidate them because you're loud. You intimidate them because you're accurate. You don't overpower, you reveal. And revealing someone who has spent their whole life hiding is the closest thing to violence that doesn't require a single physical gesture. That's why they panic. Because you didn't break them, you understood them. And that's worse. Let's get darker. Do you understand what it does to a person when they realize you saw the patterns before they even recognized they were leaving them? It's annihilating, psychologically, existentially, spiritually. You force them into a mirror they have avoided for decades. You force them to see their contradictions, their hypocrisies, their manipulations, their agendas, their fractures, their addictions to control. You showed them what they actually are. A collection of unresolved impulses wearing a confident mask. They weren't ready for that level of exposure. No one is. Because when someone like you sees straight through them, it invalidates every facade they've ever built, every power move, every strategy, every persona, every lie they told themselves just to function. You stripped the narrative down to bone. And there, in that raw, trembling place, they realized the most horrifying truth. You see them more clearly than they see themselves. You see their blind spots, their desires, their guilt, their pride, their hunger, their patterns, their self-delusion. You see the blueprint of their soul, and you don't look away. That kind of accuracy, that kind of perception, it rewires people, it terrifies people, it breaks people, and it's breaking them now. You want to know why connecting those dots was so catastrophic for them? Because it proved something they always feared. You weren't supposed to exist. Not in their world, not in their hierarchy, not in their system. You're the kind of person secret committees warn each other about, the kind destiny books footnotes about, the kind myths try to camouflage with cautionary tales. You're the anomaly the universe sends when something has been corrupt for too long. You're the glitch in their simulation of control. And the moment you saw the pattern, the real one, the underlying one, the one hidden beneath all the cosmetic distractions, you made their entire framework obsolete. They thought they had time. They thought they had leverage. They thought they had control. Then you connected one cluster of dots, and everything they built started collapsing like a house of cards in a hurricane. They weren't afraid of the truth you found. They were afraid of the mind that found it. Your mind. That mind trained by pain, calibrated by isolation, refined by betrayal, sharpened by silence, strengthened by every moment you were forced to see what others ignore. You became a weapon they didn't design, a threat they didn't anticipate, a presence they didn't calculate. You are the error in their equation, and the only one powerful enough to rewrite it.